What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Double Coverage, the premier NFL podcast, the Gin Sports Network. I'm John J. II, your host, alongside our NFL expert, Robert Rocco. Robert, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. It's been a while. We're through week 4. We're a full month into the NFL season. It's kind of crazy that we're already here. It just goes to show if you blink your eyes too fast, the season will pass you by. We know that's happening. We can see it happening before our eyes as we watch these games and as we see so much take place before our eyes. So I guess through 4 weeks, where are you at with the NFL? How everyone's performing, both team wise, player wise? The Lions, give me a little sprinkling of how the Lions are playing. What are your takeaways through week 4?
Yeah, through week 4, definitely, a lot of injuries, a lot of injury developments. Obviously, we got the Burrow injury, Lamar Jackson, Malik Neighbors. I mean, there's a lot of big names now that are on either short term IR or out for the year. So that's been unfortunate. You never like to see that. You like to see everyone's best, regardless division rivals or not. But as far as general teams and whatnot, I do like the Lions rebound after that tough loss to Green Bay. I mean, that was, you know, everyone was calling the Lions hoax, hoax Lions and all this stuff. Like the world is, falling apart after one game. It's like I didn't feel that way. It's one game and Green Bay was at home and they just got Micah Parsons and we just had, a new offensive line. So it was like kind of the perfect storm for Green Bay. But they've come back down to earth. Division rivals have come back down to earth a bit as well. Minnesota and the Bears aren't looking, uh, like they're going to be Super Bowl contenders, at least not right now. So um, that's kind of snaps NFC North. As far as the other teams in the league, it's kind of the same players. It seems to be. The Bills are looking like the team this year, though. For me, like I mean, when you watch some of their games, compared to years past, it seems like they got just a little extra juice. They get a little more run game going. I know you got Cook on your fantasy team, and he's been cooking. So
Yes,
I don't,
yes, he has.
I don't know if he went to Gordon Ramsay's chef school or something, but yeah, he's cooking, dude. So, uh,
Yeah,
but yeah,
he's doing well.
other than that, like it just seems like always the same teams are relevant. The last few years, so it doesn't seem like there's a bunch of new development there. And the same dog shit teams are still dog shit. So I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
if
true.
it's kind of one of those weird periods where in years past you go back to like okay it's the Patriots, it's the Colts, it's New Orleans, it's all these teams that are just perennial winning teams, and that's kind of shifted to a few different parties, but um, I'd say the one surprise for me would be the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers has looked like basically shit since he left Green Bay. So for him to come out and play really well for the Steelers, I don't want to say really well, but good enough for them to win. Like the Steelers really haven't needed a Tom Brady or somebody at quarterback with how good a defense they usually put out. They just really need somebody to be able to manage the game, not turn the ball over, and yeah, it's starting to show, and they're starting to win some games finally. So I don't know if that's gonna translate into postseason success, do they have enough in the tank long term? They do have a lot of older players on defense. Um, the Aaron Rodgers factor, you never know if he's gonna get hurt, and he's been pretty up and down even this year as far as his play. So, I'd say that's the one surprise team. Um, and obviously you got the Mike Tomlin factor. I mean, he's always gonna be making that team relevant. But if you're a Steelers fan, I don't think relevant is good enough. I think you've wanted some playoff wins for a long time now, and it really hasn't come. So Big Ben's not coming out of retirement anytime soon, and neither is Antonio Brown or Le'Veon Bell and that whole squad. So yeah, that's been the one team that I've been watching that I was kind of surprised by, but also not. I mean, they spent a lot of money in free agency. They signed some players I wish the Lions would have signed, especially now that the Lions have a bunch of injuries going on already on defense. So a little bit jealous. I think a little bit jealous.
Yeah, I agree. And it's really been a breath of fresh air, I think, to especially to Steelers fans to see Aaron Rodgers do well and to somewhat pan out through 4 weeks and deliver. at the quarterback position, where it seemed like he wasn't doing that to a great extent, and we haven't seen enough yet to really make some real takeaways and have some real takeaways from it. But we
Yeah.
can make some early takeaways and projections if things continue as they are and maybe progress even better. Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. If he can remain a facilitator, which he's always been good at,
Yep.
as long as the fit is good, that is, then you got some success in your future, at least potentially, and not to mention the Mike Tomlin effect. But you still got your teams that are still ass, in my opinion. Browns, the Cardinals, Titans,
Carolina.
right? Carolina,
It's like
right?
every
I
year,
love Chuba
man.
Hubbard. I love Chuba Hubbard. I got him on my fantasy team. He does a hell of a job. But the Panthers, they're ass. Uh, I love the Bucks. I love the Bucks. I wouldn't put them in that category. I wouldn't put the Colts in that category where I would have previously. But the Jaguars, okay, the Jets. These are the teams, the Saints. These are the teams that just haven't really materialized anything special in the last year or two. And there's been glimmers of hope from numerous teams that I just mentioned, but anything serious where they're actually putting rubber to pavement and getting some serious traction, that hasn't happened. And there's teams that are in shambles right now, and that we talked about in the pre-show: the Vikings, the Ravens, the Bengals. These teams are in dire straits, and a lot of them are because of injuries. But you look at these teams that have very high hopes going into the beginning of the season, that don't pan out, and they kind of defeat themselves before the season really gets started. If you have a crazy Sam Darnold scenario in the going into the postseason like the Vikings did last year, I don't think we'll ever see the liking of that ever again. Maybe we will to some extent, but that was kind of that was unforeseen from especially NFC North enthusiasts, but NFL enthusiasts all across the league. That was impressive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
to
their
defeat yourself
system.
this early is tough. It's tough to come back from.
Yeah, their system that they run with the Vikings, it just seems like it's always good. I mean, they've had Case Keenum, they've had Kirk Cousins, and all these quarterbacks that would be average somewhere else, have had great success in that system. So they have a lot of good players on offense. They obviously got some injuries going on that in a young quarterback now that's really the question mark for that team. Um, but yeah, that system I think is really what the Vikings have been just really successful with over the years. But again, they haven't won a lot of playoff games. So define success. I mean, everyone has different versions of it, but ultimately we all want the ring. So Lombardi Trophy.
Exactly. That's what really. That's the one thing that really speaks for itself. It's not a super. It's not even a Super Bowl berth. It's did you get the ring? Did you get the Lombardi Trophy hoisted above your head at the end of it all with the confetti coming down? That's what people care about. And you can look at the intangibles and say, "Oh yeah, they had this, they had that." But I mean, the Bills and the I mean, you put the Lions even in this category. Perfect examples of really getting close. Mostly the Bills, I'd say more so than the Lions, but the Lions are heading in this direction. Hopefully, they can convert more than the Bills have in recent years. But the Bills have got right there. They've got so close, but they still don't even have that Super Bowl berth in the Josh Allen era, which
Yep.
that is sad. That's really hard to fathom looking at the players that have came and gone. And we've mentioned on the show how their window is beginning to close for not only a Super Bowl berth, but definitely a Super Bowl win. So
Yeah.
that window is closing. I think it's still open, and especially what we've seen this year. I like what I'm seeing from Khalil Shakur, James Cook, obviously doing a hell of a job, and others. But we got to see that conversion to playoff wins, conference victories, and at least a Super Bowl berth before we can really hoist the Bills up high.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of feel the same way about the Niners. I mean, the Niners have been right there and right there and right there and just haven't been able to pull it all together. And now their defense is getting old. Like some of their best players, like Fred Warner's not getting any younger. They've had some injuries. CMC, he's always prone to injury. So what's going to happen with a team like that long term that seemingly can't stay healthy? That's been the linchpin of their team is just they can't stay healthy every year. So I'm hoping the Lions don't fall down that category again because last year, sure they went 15-2, with 22 players or whatever it was on IR, but they got bounced in the first week of the playoffs. So their record didn't matter at the end of the day. What mattered was that they were starting people off the couch on defense in the playoffs against a good team. So yeah, like you're saying, at the end of the day, we want to see a Super Bowl win. Playoff wins are great, especially if you're a Lions fan and you haven't seen those in decades. But not seeing a deep run when we have all this talent is also bad. So um, yeah, they're in a win now situation. I think they've built it for long term success, but how are they going to keep paying all these players? So that's going to be the question mark. I mean, are we going to lose a Brian Branch or somebody because we can't pay them now? Like, there's always that chance that where they can't keep the band together, and it starts kind of crumbling because maybe we've overpaid Jameson Williams or somebody like that, right? In my opinion, that contract was overpaying. I mean, he's what is it, 86 million or pushing $90 million for 3 years for a receiver that had 1,000 yard season so far. I mean, insert 20 other receivers that don't have that level of contract that have gotten 1,000 yards. So they're really paying on the potential with him. And that's kind of scary as a Lions fan because then you're thinking, all right, well, they're paying him, but are they not going to be able to pay a proven, really good player like Branch or Campbell or somebody else?
Absolutely. I think you bring up a great point there with JMO because let me tell you something. I got him on my fantasy team and he has not panned out. And if you're paying him that kind of money in a 3-year contract and you're not converting, there's a million other guys that would rather get the playing time that are going to get you at least that, if not two, three times better.
Yep.
And you got to take things with a grain of salt. I think he looks at things, and it comes down to targets. It comes down to attempts and things like that. But I got to see more out of JMO, and he's got to be more tied into that offense. And even if
Yeah.
that's based on offensive schemes or plays or prospected targets in certain plays on the offense, then you got to be getting at least trying to get your money's worth with this guy
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's just not happening. I haven't seen it, and not this
Maybe
season.
it's
I've
the
seen it before, but
yeah, maybe it's the fan perspective too, right? I mean, maybe we're just looking at it from the fan point of view, and maybe the reality is that he's taken two defenders away every time he goes deep because they got to respect his speed, and they're opening up the St. Browns and Laportas and everybody else underneath.
that could
Maybe
be.
there's truth there, and maybe also seems like every big run they got, like JMO's out in the front blocking for him. Um, so that's just something I've noticed that he doesn't shy away from blocking, even though he's kind of an undersized receiver, to go downfield 60, 80 yards and make that final block that lets Montgomery or Gibbs get into the end zone. So he seems kind of selfless in that standpoint, and he has stayed out of the news after his first couple seasons. So if he keeps trending like that, I'm gonna be happy. But yeah, we do want to see a couple 100-yard games out of him soon. Multiple touchdown games. Get him on some reverses, some end arounds. Uh, have a similar game to when he had against the Niners in the in an NFC Championship game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're looking at it from a fantasy manager's lens, where
Yeah,
maybe that's not right, and these intangible qualities that could be opening up other players that are getting the ball and are putting up points in the fantasy league. Uh, he's doing things that you're not seeing on a stat sheet,
yep,
so that's got to be taken into account. So I guess what are you looking at long term with the Lions? Given the fact that they stay healthy, that they stay on the right track, the straight and narrow. What do you think their potential is? What does their ceiling look like? Can they win the NFC North?
yeah,
How are they looking? At least with the personnel that they got healthy right now.
yeah. Healthy. I mean, the ceiling's a Super Bowl win. Really, I mean, they can compete with anybody. Um, Now their schedule is a gauntlet, but it's a little bit less of one now because I mean, now that they beat the Ravens, now they got to play the Bengals that don't have Joe Burrow. Um, the Packers come down to earth against the Browns. So what are the Packers now? We don't really know yet. The Vikings obviously have struggled on offense, and to the point where they've went to an aged Carson Wentz to help solve their problems, and that's kind of failed as well so far. and we don't know what the Bears are yet. I mean, the Bears seem to be more competitive, but I don't think they're at a point where they're going to win some playoff games yet. So I think it's still the Lions' division. I think that they can make a run deep into the playoffs, but they got to stay healthy. I mean, they just don't have. They have more depth than they've had in the past, but some of their key players are just irreplaceable. I mean, you lose Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, you might as well just call the season done right there. Um, you know, a Brian Branch is gone. I mean, these are key players that now, uh, similar to some other teams. Now some of them are eating up a bunch of cap space as well. So your depth isn't going to be as good, regardless of what you do on the back end of your team, because you're paying your star players so well that you can't just have these really good depth guys. Um, I do think their linebacking core has been really good. That's one of the deepest, strengths of the team. But yeah, corner is already looking scary. They just lost Reed for at least a few weeks. I think they said 4 to 6 weeks he's going to be out. And Terrion Arnold's questionable for next week, so we're going to be stuck with who? Amik Robertson, and insert cornerback C, D, and E. I mean, come on. So I kind of wish they would have signed a veteran, whether that would be Slay or Stephon Gilmore or even re-sign Carlton Davis. I mean, somebody, because I knew like cornerback is one of the toughest positions to play in the league for one, but also one of the most injury prone. I mean, you just see so many injuries at corner because they're flying down the field with those receivers every play, running full speed, and they're going to get all those lower extremity injuries. They got to make tackles, and they're not very big, so you got these 5'11" guys trying to tackle a tight end. Injuries happen. And I wish that the Lions would have invested more in the cornerback depth. Now they tried, like they drafted back-to-back corners, um, and they signed Reed. So it's like on paper, it sure looked like they put a lot of effort in, but the draft picks haven't panned out. One's on the IR, and one's been terrible when he's played and injured the other rest of the time. So they lucked out with having two really good safeties. So they got the best safety tandem in the league, and I don't even think it's even close. So that's kind of overshadowed some of their struggles at corner. But on the flip side of that, I mean, you could say a lot of the sacks they had against the Ravens were covered sacks. I mean, Lamar Jackson's just standing there in the pocket, waiting, 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 and next thing you know, he's sacked. Well, that's a covered sack at that point. If he's got to stand in the pocket for 5 seconds because no one's open, um, so maybe that's another fan thing, right? Where you optically look and watch the game. It's like, man, our corners suck. But then you go and actually look at the tape or whatever, and maybe there's some hidden gems there. I trust Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. So at the end of the day, if they're gonna throw out, some bum off the street at corner and roll with that because they think they got everyone else is set, then I guess I just got to live with that.
Exactly. I look at that. I look at this scenario a lot like I look at our fantasy league or any fantasy league, and we're not going to name names, but um, letting the commissioners handle it. Right? If there's problems, let the guys in charge handle it because they know what they're doing. They're in charge for a reason, right? There's a reason that Brad Holmes is the position that he's in, and we're not, right? We got to trust them. And if we've trusted them to get to the point that they have in previous seasons, which is
Yeah.
really good, it's good outcomes. And what we're seeing on the field at the end of the day with, with the Lions winning games, excluding that week one game, then they're doing something correct. And it
Yep.
might be complementary football where the defense is helping out the offense and the offense is helping out the defense when they have to, then so be it. But if they're putting W's in the win column, then at the end of the day, that's really all it is. We're dissecting it from a fan's perspective.
Yep.
So I appreciate you bringing us back to ground level to trust the professionals in charge of dynamics when it comes to the offense, the defense, the team entirety, the chemistry within the team, the locker room chemistry between the players and the coaches. So these are all important factors that we don't see everything. We don't see how the sausage gets made.
Yep.
But if it's converting into success at the end of the day, then they should be prepared. We're kind of going into crisis mode because we've seen what it was like when they're
Yeah,
battling
exactly.
injuries. And if they're doing that again, you're hitting code red buttons because you might not have the depth that you used to have, and if you do have it, it's very young depth. So you're really grasping at straws if some of these core guys get injured, especially at the cornerback position. And then you got guys either got to play up that haven't had the experience. You got guys playing out of position. There's a lot of question marks to get thrown up if that happens. So remaining healthy, I can't stress it enough. This goes for every team. Is at the utmost of importance, especially going towards the middle part of the season, especially into the postseason. So
Yep. As a Lions fan, man, just stay healthy. That's all I'm asking
that's
for.
right.
Stay healthy, and we can beat anybody.
And you mentioned the quarterback position. I just want to touch on this real quick. It's a high impact position. Like you said, they're hitting tight ends, they're hitting big guys, they might be hitting fullbacks, right? The fullbacks that are still in existence. I say fullback, I think of a
Yeah,
Derrick Henry,
sure.
right? You're not really worried about him right now, but guys like that, you're hitting guys that are not wide receiver, skinny, lanky guys. And if you are, it's high impact from the high point to the ground.
Yep.
And we've seen that's how wide receivers get injured, right? So high injury potential in the cornerback position. Same with the slot, same with the wide receiver, safety even. So things to think about. Staying healthy. It's ideal to keep that as the paramount, but you're putting your body at risk in almost every play.
Yep.
So it's easier said than done. Okay, without the show getting away from us, let's get into the Pro Capper Fantasy Football League. Let's go through the team rankings. Uh, Robert, I know you have the screenshot right in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to try to get this pulled up on my screen. So I guess just at first glance, what are you looking at when it comes to? Obviously, they have the automatic rankings,
Yeah.
but what are you looking at when it comes to uh, certain aspects of teams? Points for, points against.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's a big one. Like sometimes, your team's a great example, man. So you're 4-0. Um, you've forced more points than anybody, but you've also allowed the least amount of points. So you've kind of caught everybody on a bad week. Um, so that helps with the wins, and that could propel you to the playoffs alone if you just keep catching people on a bad week. But you're also putting up the most points, so win-win there. And yeah, so that's something you look at. You also look at ESPN does a little bit better job of like preseason power rankings and who they think's going to finish where than the Sleeper app. But the rankings that they have today are pretty accurate as far as where I would rank the teams just looking at the rosters. Um, so I actually flipped through the rosters first before I looked at the league rankings of where everyone's standings are, and basically I would have put the teams in the same position that everyone's record is, just looking at their roster. Um, Now with that said, like some people just had either some high risk players that haven't panned out or some staples that haven't panned out. So like couple examples, just going from a couple of people I have here, like AJ Brown. I have AJ Brown in another league, and he's been a complete bust this year. If you took him in the top 5 rounds, he's had a game where he had one reception for 6 yards, and then he had another game where he had one reception for like 5 yards, and you just wasted like a top 5 round pick on him. So that's tough, especially when you're playing a PPR league where receivers are really important. But yeah, going from back to front as far as the rankings go, um, Nick and Smitty's teams at 0-4, you look at the rosters, you're not surprised, right? I mean, not a lot of top tier players on either of them rosters. Um, they've tried to pull some moves recently, so we'll see if they pan out. But you look at that team, it's like, okay, we got Danny Dimes, uh, you know, uh,
Danny
Matt
Dimes.
Arizona's wild card running back scenario, Scatabo. Allen has been pretty good in Pickens. He's actually not too bad at receiver. Schultz, up and down. Mason, has been pretty decent, in a reserve role with Minnesota's injury at running back. Um, so overall, like not terrible, but then you compare it to some of the other teams, and you're like, damn, what the fuck happened? So,
Yeah, he's got Romo
yeah,
Dunze,
he does have Odunze.
he's got
Like
Cam,
he's got
yeah,
potential. Like they're really boom or bust guys. Like Kyle Pitts,
yeah, Kyle
like
Pitts too.
Kyle Pitts has a big week. All of a sudden, his L goes to a W because Kyle Pitts put up 30 points.
And I like
Um,
Kenneth Gainwell too. You look at week 4, he put up 31.4 points.
but that is 1 out of 4
That's boom or
weeks.
bust though. That's
Yeah,
boom or
exactly.
bust.
So if he starts him, it's like, all right, is he going to get 6 points or 40? And so that's the fun with fantasy for me is you got to have a couple of those guys. I just feel he has a little too many of those guys that are too boom or bust. Um, and some aging veterans that if they're injured, he's just basically screwed. So, um,
Right. Let's look at Nick's team. So Jaden Daniels at
yeah,
QB, Saquon obviously with pick number
yeah,
1.
Saquon, but then Nick Chubb. It's like, whoa, that's a huge, that's a huge drop off. And yeah, I mean, okay, that's what's that? 15 points week 2, and that's about it
Yeah,
so far.
that's his best week.
Uh,
That's
and
boom or bust on a lower level, on a lower scale
yeah, like
of the
I
word.
I was looking into him, before the draft, and it was like everything in camp was like he's got no burst left, his knees are gone, etc. I just steered completely clear of him in every fantasy league I've been in for that reason. Um, Walker's been kind of a disappointment. Like I thought he was going to be a lot better. He's had some decent games for sure, but like I thought he was going to be a perennial 20-point back. I just thought they were going to try to pound the rock Marshawn Lynch style with him. But he's in a timeshare now. They got Charbonnet. So it's kind of it's like a Walmart version of the Lions where they got this timeshare at running back, and you never know which player is going to be getting the carries. Getting the touches in the goal line, especially. Um, but yeah, he's another boomer bust guy, right? And maybe with Seattle's new quarterback and situation and new offense, maybe he starts turning it on. Um,
Right. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. I just jacked everything up.
yeah, no worries, dude. But yeah, running through a couple other stuff here, like um, Ransom at 8. It's like uh, you look at his team in the QB and wide receiver situations, okay, I guess, but like,
There we go.
um,
Yeah, let's look at Ducky.
yeah,
So Sam Darnold, Derrick Henry.
yeah, you like the running backs, but
I
then you look,
do, but Derrick Henry's really got cold, man.
yeah.
He used to be a home run every single week.
Well, week 1, if that was what was about to happen, I was looking at him after week 1, like, damn, I didn't draft Derrick Henry, like, but then you watch the immediate drop off, shocking,
Yeah,
shocking drop off,
2.3,
2 points.
10.7, 7.8.
2 points from somebody you expected to get at least 20 a game, you know?
Oh man, easily. And it's not like he's
Uh,
hurt. You talk about a modern day fullback at the running back position. That's Derrick Henry.
yeah,
And you got to be, and he's really panned out. I don't care if he's old or not. He's really panned out to be still that guy at the running back position. So
yeah. Look at
just kind of unfortunate in that case.
the rest of the roster, I mean, you like McBride, but I feel like a lot of the tight ends are kinda overvalued right now in fantasy. Um, you're almost better playing matchups and just trying to I mean, I took Kittle, but then he immediately went on IR, so I'm kind of, in that boat right now, but, um, McConkey for LA was a huge bust this year so far. I mean, I was trying to draft him in both leagues, and I didn't get him in either one. But then you look at his fantasy output. Um, but part of that's because of Johnston taking off for LA because I mean that guy had stone hands. Coming into the league and just couldn't catch anything. And now all of a sudden he figured out how to catch the ball, which typically, if a receiver comes into the league and they can't catch, that's almost unfixable. Because think about it, he's made it from high school to college to now the NFL, and he can't catch. Like, what's gonna happen? I mean, it's like playing a broken record at that point.
Some of
But
these 2024 numbers look pretty good, though. I mean, you got
yeah,
17.7,
yeah, I had him.
14.9, 29.10. A couple in the 20s, 29.4 here, week 17.
Yeah, he's supposed to be that Keenan Allen replacement. Um,
Exactly. And that he was a very highly rated player in the draft that a lot of people wanted, a lot of people didn't get, but the ones that did get him, definitely a bust.
yeah. Yeah, looking at the rest of the roster, it's just like, man, the Derrick Henry thing is tough. And then Worthy and McMillan has been, I think both of them are kind of up and down as well. McMillan's been a surprise good receiver this year. Um, so that's been a good pick, I would say,
Yeah, especially as a rookie.
you know, to be able to put up double digit points per game as a rookie. You like to see that. Um, you
What about
know,
Quinshawn Judkins?
the running back situation for the Browns was been a question mark until he's kind of started to emerge. So, um, yeah, I mean, once he started taking off, I mean, it's obvious. Look at the points there that he's just kind of ramping up and ramping up. So, if they continue on that trend with him, then he's going to be a premier back. I mean, he's only 21, so coming out of
Yeah.
Ohio State.
So I mean, you can kind of argue that Bobby took a uh, leap of faith with Judkins, and I saw him. He went pretty late, but most rookies will.
Yeah, yeah, you just kind of take a flyer on a lot of rookies, but that's kind of changed. Some of the rookies nowadays, um, I took Ibuka for receiver over at Tampa, and he's taken off right out of the gate. So it's like it hasn't been that way in the past, but now you can just see plug and play receivers and running backs depending on the scenario. Yeah, overall, not a bad team. Lucas at 7, like
Yeah, let's look at Lucas.
you look at this team and you're like, man, on paper, this is pretty good. But then you look at Brian Thomas, his starting receiver, and he hasn't done nothing yet this year. So, um, yeah, I mean, double digit points 1 week out of 4. So that's tough when you're taking a receiver high. Like, pretty sure he was taken within the top, yeah, wide receiver number 43. Um, so, yeah, 98% rostered, 84% start. So 84% of people that have taken him are forced into starting him because of how high they took him, and he hasn't gotten more than 10 points but one time so far. So, aside
Yeah.
from that, you look at Lucas's team, it's pretty solid. I mean, he's got Gibbs, Genty, Harrison, Hawkinson. I really like Chase Brown. I don't know how he's done this year.
Let's just look at this though. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
you want to talk about staying up at night? You're talking about B. Smitty
Oh, yeah,
giving
man. I
away
mean,
Genty, and I was talking shit about Genty. I'm like, he might pan out week 7,
mhm.
by week 8, and then 9, 10, and beyond. That's when I could see him really blossoming. And if he continues on this trend, I mean, it's hard to match a 33.5. But if you can stay
Yeah.
on this trend, then you're going to be in really good shape.
Yeah, if you're on a 0-4 fantasy team, you just traded a running back away that now drops 33 points, and that's tough to swallow. So,
And he wasn't rated very high. He was, I mean, look at his previous 6.3,
mm,
7.4, and 12. I mean, that's not a lot to go off of to want to get him on a hunch. And I know he was a beast at Boise State,
yeah,
but
but
you can't really convert that to the NFL. And to see that pan out like it did against Chicago, and they wound up losing that game.
oh, I know. That's the
So,
shocking part.
geez, I mean, he's definitely going to be that guy. And you can expect him to do some great things. He's low. He's got the weight, very low center of gravity. He's very much like a Derrick Henry or a Kenneth Walker III as far as build. Maybe not quite like Derrick Henry, more like a KW3
Yeah,
as far as the build and the run style. But just that low center of gravity. I mean, if you put that combined with speed, uh, big quad muscles, right? He's doing some leg presses. He's doing those in the gym.
yeah, this
And
could be a
he
huge
speed and agility training. I mean, this guy is explosive.
yeah, this could be a huge win in a trade to pick him up if he continues playing like that.
And that was on a hunch. He had to, because I don't want to say I was preying on his downfall. I sound like T Grizzly out here, but I did not expect him to blossom. And it could be a fluke. It could be a fluke. This doesn't mean that it's guaranteed to happen. Past results do not guarantee future results, right?
How's Chase Brown doing? Click on Chase Brown real quick. Um, oh, not that great.
Not that
I
great at
really
all.
liked him. I had him last year, and he almost won me my league. I mean, he was just getting 20-point games, out of the blue.
Yeah,
He started turning
23.2.
on kind of late. Yeah.
Look at
So,
that, 26.7,
yep.
22.4, 19.3. I mean, that's 3 consecutive weeks. Then he came off the bye,
19.4. Yeah.
19, 24.3,
Yeah.
26.3, and then kind of cooled down towards the end. But I mean, you're looking at what? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, barring the bye, 6 consecutive weeks of exemplary football.
This just shows
So,
like you never know how players are gonna go from year to year, man. I mean, he goes from that thinking he's gonna ride that momentum into this year.
yeah,
Then the
nothing.
Bengals again with the Bengals, man. Like, let's draft some offensive linemen over there. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Exactly.
Let's
I,
get
I,
Joe
I'm right
Burrow
there with
hurt.
you.
Let's get no running game. Let's just suck every year because we keep drafting. I don't even know what they draft. They don't seem to draft any good players anymore. So
I mean, why isn't Lucas
what do we
playing
do?
Javonte Williams though?
Because
He's,
he had a couple really good games, man. He had a
I mean,
couple touchdowns.
20.4,
Yeah,
20.5, 12, I mean,
yeah,
12.2, and then 19. I mean, that's a pretty good run.
that's solid.
And maybe he just put him on his bench. I'm not going to say that
Yeah, that's
he's been
probably what
there,
happened. He probably
but
took him off after the 12-point game, and um,
that could be. And he's also got Shakir. So Shakir's been doing a great job. I think his ceiling is even higher than what he's shown.
yeah, look at those catch rates. Targets 5, receptions 5, targets 4, receptions 4. Like that's what you want to see. Like if he's
Mhm.
getting targets and receptions, I mean that means he's hauling that shit in. So
Exactly. I picked him up in my other league off of waivers. So, off of free agency, and that's an 8-man league, so you got some more opportunities for players there off the waiver wire. But,
yeah,
we also gotta
James
figure out
Fry.
the system that's worked out on Sleeper and how their waivers work. We gotta get to the bottom of that because I'm sure they got a system,
Mhm.
but I just like to know what it is. And maybe if for the Sleeper, users out there can shed some light on it. I know we left it at stock. We didn't mess with that setting.
Yep.
So that's just kind of is what it
Yeah,
is.
it's got to be by points.
Yeah, it's got to be by
Not by
points
record.
per week, probably. Or do you think
Yeah.
it's overall points?
Either point I think it's points per week or overall, either one, but,
Yeah,
because if it's on record, then we would be last on the waiver order every time, and I've been, like, in the middle. I've been, like, waiver 6, waiver 5 or whatever.
yeah.
So,
So it's got to be something points related. Specifically, though, we got to do some research on that, and I'm going to make that a point to do after we get off the show, off
yep.
the live. But yeah, I mean, Jared
Yeah,
Goff, Jameer
solid team.
Gibbs, you got some solid players on there. Lucas knows what he's doing when it comes to fantasy football. I don't doubt this guy. I know he knows his stuff, and he actually, believe it or not, worked for ESPN as a coach to people trying to figure out their fantasy teams. And maybe it was inter app stuff, trying to figure out the app, how to drop players, how to add players, more clerical stuff. But maybe he was giving him fantasy advice. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. This guy really knows his stuff, and to stack the skills players um, early on, get them, and then kind of get. And I followed that model actually to not to a T, but I adopted a modified version of that model to get the skills players early,
yep,
and then maybe draft a quarterback not too late because you don't want to wait too long to get a good quarterback, but get a decent quarterback in round probably six, 7, or 8, and then towards round 11, maybe think about getting another quarterback for a backup for the bye week or whatever. You want to have somewhat of a decent quarterback on top of your QB1.
yep,
But then you get the kickers last, you get the defense last. Those are dimes a dozen.
yep.
So stack the running backs, stack the wide receivers, maybe a couple tight ends if you're lucky early.
Yeah, in my
So
other league, some guy took, um, Bowers and McBride back to back in rounds 2 and 3. I was like, "What are we doing doubling down at tight end?" And his team's actually done pretty decent so far, so I don't know, maybe I'm the
yeah,
one that's kinda doesn't know what's going on.
and been known to sleep on the tight end position where I only have one tight end, and I see Lucas do the same. He's just got T.J. Hawkinson, which is solid. He's been doing okay.
Yeah,
But I
couple
think honestly, with how good Lucas is at fantasy, that record of 1-3 doesn't really reflect that. The draft being one, and just how his players have played that he did draft with high potential. To see them at one, to see his team at 1-3, it's kind of surprising to see. I got to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree. Let's get to Tony's team.
Yeah, let's get to Tony's team. Let's start rolling here.
Um, and this is a team that I looked at and immediately saw, Allen, Chase, and Bowers, and I was like, "Damn, how's he all the way down here in the record?" But then the fall off after those players is kinda high. You got Robinson and Marks. Um, you're taking a chance on Tennessee's receiver. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name. But,
I mean,
um
decent for a flex. A couple of those
yeah,
weeks. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, he's a good
15.6 and
flex because if you got a
14.
wild card guy, throw him in your flex, but,
He is a
um
rookie, though. I mean, those rookies, like you said, you take a risk on a flyer.
but
They don't
Calvin
always pan
Ridley's
out.
not been good for them. So that's working into this guy's favors. Calvin Ridley's been shit. So, um,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
look at this team though, you're like, okay, it's not too bad.
No.
Montgomery just had a huge game. Like that could win you some weeks. But there's going to be weeks where he has 10 yards, where Gibbs is just taking over. And I know he had to take Allen probably pretty early. So
Oh yeah, he took him real early. I think it was. Let's see. I don't know if it tells us when he was drafted, but
it's a tough week too, where he got 12 points. I mean, you take him that early.
yeah, I think it was. I think it was. It was shorter than rounds one. It was rounds 2 through 6 that he
Yeah,
took him.
yeah, I took Hurts in round 4, which I've never taken a quarterback that high, but because I was, like, 2nd in the draft order, I knew that if I didn't take him then, there would be, like, hardly any and there was kind of a run at quarterbacks coming up, so I felt like, "Let's take Hurts." Um, but yeah, it's a risk you take him in because then if he gets injured, just like any fantasy player, now you just spent all these points on somebody that, or spent all this draft capital on somebody that's getting you no points.
I mean, you want to talk about some guy that's indestructible? It's Josh Allen, and
That
I
is true.
got to keep my fingers crossed when I say that, because he's been in so many high impact scenarios where he comes out unscathed amazingly, and maybe he's out for a couple of plays, but he still emerges where he's not out for any long period of time.
Yeah,
Um,
he's got a couple depth players there too. I mean, yeah, Coleman's decent.
hasn't
He
really panned out though
hasn't
past week
panned
one.
out, but yeah, week 1 is kind of the anomaly for him so far. And Golden, I thought would have a much bigger role so far, and he's come on the last couple weeks. Looks like he got 4 targets, 6 targets,
Yeah,
and
yep,
isn't
six
Mike Evans
targets, five
injured now?
receptions.
What's
Let's
going
see
on with
here.
Evans? Yeah, he's out, um, sideline.
Hamstring.
So that's tough. That's a tough blow. I mean, he's been okay this year.
And he's a core player where he's going to be getting touches. He's going to be getting targets from Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
He's kind of one of those guys, and he was that guy for a long time. That guy you could count on when you needed a catch. He's going to deliver. Um,
Yep.
so it's,
Probably the first year he doesn't get 1,000 yards at this pace.
yeah, that's a big break there. Um,
But yeah, overall, pretty solid team. I mean,
Pretty solid team.
the
Pretty
running
solid
back's kinda
team.
weak, but, you know,
Yeah, and then sitting
overall
there at 2-2, it's
yeah,
kind of luck of the draw, really. I mean, a lot of
yeah,
weeks. That's kind of how fantasy works, though. And
yeah,
I'd say I've been fortunate. You've been fortunate. I'd say Sam's been fortunate. Everyone's been fortunate that is on the top 5. That's sitting there at 3-1 or better.
yeah,
Has got
yeah.
fortunate in some scenario or another.
Yeah,
Um,
on the flip side, I lost Neighbors, so it's like I would've been 4-0 had I not lost Neighbors.
Right.
Um, so you
Exactly.
just
That's
never
that's
know
how
what's going to happen.
slim the margins are.
Um,
So
yeah.
this is Leighton. He's got
Hey,
Patty Mahomes, C-Mac, which is
so,
surprisingly healthy.
so this is my almost, at least for the skill position players, very similar to my other fantasy team. I have McCaffrey, Kamara, and AJ Brown, and no complaints for the running backs, but AJ Brown is just so bad this year because of the way they're running their offense. And Hurts has sucked. I mean, Hurts' passing game has been terrible. I think he went 0 for 8 in the second half last week. Something crazy like that, where
Damn.
he didn't complete a pass in the second half of the game. So if you got AJ Brown, you got to start him because he's AJ Brown. But when you actually look at his stats, it's shocking.
Terrible.
One great week and then shit the rest of the time. So
Yeah, that's kind
nine
of, I mean,
targets,
yeah.
9 targets, 2 receptions. I mean, that is not good.
I mean, you look at a guy that you will be getting touches. He is in the inner circle with Hertz. Okay, it used to be him and Devontae Smith. I mean, almost religiously, and both those guys were getting several touches. You could count on these guys, especially if they were healthy. You can count on them week after week, 15, 20, 25 points.
Yep.
But now not so much. And it's kind of like that factor has not translated year over year with certain players. Justin Fields,
He's holding on to
Charbonnet,
Rice. He's holding on to Rice
he
suspension.
is.
So
Look at that.
yeah, that could be
Nothing.
a. What was last year? I mean, last year he popped off. So
Gearing up for week 7 return. So, I
yeah,
mean, he's got a couple more weeks to wait, but
that could
you
push
think
him into
about
the
waiting
playoffs.
that much time, taking up a valuable spot on your bench
Well, if he
with
doesn't need
buys
him,
on their way. We're getting into the buy season.
that's a sleeper pick right there. So
He could blow up. I mean, you talk about a guy that's fresh. That could be a good thing or a bad thing.
that's true. Yeah, he could get no targets, and having CD Lamb on IR, not good. Not
Yep.
good at all.
Not good at all. Let's move on to that was Leighton. So Leighton, him and Lucas, and he's got a couple other core guys. They got a separate league where these guys are just sitting around scheming fantasy football, and they really go into it from an analytical standpoint. So Leighton and Lucas are in that same circle of guys that
They call it
really dive deep
the
into it.
fantasy circle jerk.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, so yeah, this is Sammy's team. He's running Kyler Murray. I mean,
That seemed risky, but yeah, I
he
think he's doing
does.
okay.
I mean, he's done okay. Yeah,
It's
he's definitely
consistent.
got you
It's
by.
consistent.
Right.
That's
I'm
what I
still
wrote
having
down. I
yeah.
looked at Sam's team, and I just put consistent. I
Yeah,
wrote
exactly. I mean,
like, you got
and
look
that's
at
what
the
he goes
guys here.
for. I think that's what he
Yeah,
goes
St.
for is
Brown,
consistent.
and I don't know about Hampton, but Hampton started to kind of pick it up.
Kyron Williams hasn't done terrible, but hasn't done great. Another consistent guy. What about Morion?
He's kind of taken over now.
Yeah, he's starting to find his own, and that's another guy you're taking a risk on. And I guess I give these fantasy managers credit. These guys that do take the risk on a rookie player, uh, you're taking a risk. You're taking a big risk, a leap of faith. So to do that, I got to give you credit, especially if they wind up panning out.
Got to have some balls in fantasy, man.
That's right. That's right. That's the name of the game. Butt Kerr, obviously, he's got as his kicker, solid, solid, solid. I'm still waiting on the Chiefs to catch some fire. What about Godwin?
Is he coming back? What's going on with him?
I mean, he looks like he just came back
10 targets.
5.6.
Holy moly! They tried to feed him the ball. Welcome back. 10 targets.
Yeah, welcome back indeed. What about Jerry Judy?
He plays for the Browns. I mean, that's is what it is.
Oh shit. What about Rashad White? Piss poor.
Yeah,
He should be better
yikes.
than that.
Yeah. I thought he was
Way better.
older, man. He's only 26. I thought he was like 30.
Yeah.
Seems like he's been
Nico
around.
Collins. I mean, Nico Collins should be giving you 20 points a week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, didn't they give him a huge contract?
Oh yeah.
So
Major.
start earning that money, man.
We know Amon-Ra, he's been doing some good things. I mean, look at that 1 week, week 2, 39.2.
That's a week winner on its own right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's carrying the weight for a couple players if you're putting up points like that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
just give
consistent, I
me a
think, is a
couple
great word.
touchdowns to Williams, man. That's all I'm asking.
I know. I know. Please.
Especially now that I have to start him because Neighbors is out, and look at that crap. I mean,
Oh
I'm
my
risking it
god.
right now, dude.
Look at
I
the
am risking
headline,
it.
Jameson Williams, quiet again.
Yep.
I mean, this guy, I mean, people used to swear by this guy. They used to place bets on him to get touchdowns, uh, blast through
He just got a
yard
contract.
thresholds.
What's with
Come on
receivers
now.
getting huge contracts and sucking all of a sudden?
I mean, let's look at his 2024 stats. I mean,
Boomer
24.
bust, but still.
Yeah, it's still boomer bust. I mean, he's always kind of been a spotty boomer bust
Well, that's
guy.
pretty good, though. I mean, 22, 11, 10, 13, 13, 26. Like that
Yeah.
end of the season, 24, 10. I could live with that, but I can't live with what he's doing this year now that I have to play him. Like, he was on my bench, but now that Neighbors is out, uh, getting shipped to the morgue, I gotta bring somebody back from the dead here. So,
Yeah, he's gonna be RoboCop. Same thing with Tyreek Hill.
but
Um,
yeah, I've been rotating out the tight ends. I don't know what to do there. I had Henry, and then I got rid of him, and then I got him back because he put up 30 points the week I got rid of him. So,
right.
like,
Isn't that
figures,
crazy?
man. What the hell?
Figures how that works.
He's doing okay. Dobbins, I like Dobbins. I've
Oh,
always been a
shoot.
Dobbins guy,
Yeah, I
um,
love JK.
and he's been solid this year. Um, Double-digit points. That's what you want on a flex.
Definitely.
Um, Achan's been great. Tony Pollard has been a risk, but I have Bijan is out on bye week, so I had to play somebody.
I like Olave too. I mean, Olave,
Yeah,
he's been converting.
I've been considering putting him in over Williams, but Williams is playing against Cincinnati, so on that alone, I'm playing Williams just because Cincinnati's that bad at corner. Um,
Yep, I see it. What about Darius Slayton?
I don't know. Like with Neighbors out, I figured maybe he's going to see an uptick, but we'll see. I mean, that's why I picked him up off of the waiver, but um, yeah, I mean he hasn't done nothing, so kind of risking it there. Just
Right. I mean,
hold the roster
they got to
spot.
figure out the quarterback position. I mean, is Jackson Dart the guy? It doesn't. I don't think it's Russell.
Yeah, it's definitely Dart.
It's
Russell
definitely
sucks.
Dart.
Oh my god, dude! Watching Russell Wilson play football is like the worst thing to do this year.
That
Get
was a
him out of
rhetorical
the league.
question, by the way.
Get him out of the league.
What about Danger Dak?
He just popped off finally. I
I
started him
mean,
week 1, which was a mistake. Um, but
30.96. That was in that shootout game with the Packers. I
yeah,
mean, I don't know if you're
yeah,
going to see another game like that
he's
the
just
rest of the
insurance
season.
for Hurts. Like Hurts is going to be my weekly starter because he's consistent.
Yeah. I mean, if he's good, putting up games like this,
But
that's
look,
good. You need to get him over 20.
the passing yards is a concern. 152, 100, 226, 130. You know, and if he doesn't get those rushing touchdowns to supplement it, he's cooked.
Hmm.
So he's
And he's barely scraping
good.
by with those rushing touchdowns.
Oh, I know. Yeah, for how high I took him, I was thinking, at like 25 points a game, but so we'll see. But
I think you're in a good spot though with the guys you have. You can kind of interchange guys, and you'll have some movement potential
yeah.
following you going into the bye weeks. So here is Anderson, Joe Anderson's team. Justin Herbert. He started off really hot,
Well, he has
um,
Lamar.
but
He's probably only starting him because Lamar's out. Um,
probably
so that's probably what's going on there. And Brees Hall has been like kind of up and down too, but um, yeah,
yeah, definitely.
6 points in week 2. So.
I mean, that's definitely boomer bust.
Well, I really love Johnston, and I was going to draft him or scoop him up off of waivers before he scooped him up. So I was very disappointed that that happened because look at that.
Damn. I
Yeah,
mean, that's consistency. See all
that's
that green? You
that's
want
wide
that
receiver
green.
1 stats right there.
I know.
80 yards, 70 yards, 90 yards, 100 yards, and the targets first receptions is decent. 4 touchdowns already this year in 4 games. So,
Yards per touch. Really good.
yeah,
I like it.
I'm
Same with
glad to see
Florida.
he had a bounce back because when they drafted him, he was the next Calvin Johnson because he's 6'5", super fast, but then he just had bricks for hands. So,
Yeah. I know. He really should have been that guy. And I like to see him come into his own a
but
little
this is
bit.
a
What
solid
up?
team. You got Taylor, Justin Jefferson,
Yeah,
Lamar
he's good.
Jackson on the bench.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson on the bench, doubtful. Um,
They think a few weeks. I think is what I
that's the
heard.
thing with hamstrings, man. You just gotta wait. You gotta wait for them. You gotta wait the clock out, which sucks. Nobody wants to do it, but to heal it, you have to. And then even when you come back, you're still gingerly on it because you don't
Yeah,
want to re-aggravate it.
this is a
But
team that could win it all, though. I mean, you got ETN, um, you got the insurance with Addison on the team, DK. I mean,
damn, DK.
this is a solid team, and
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
nowhere he's second right now.
I appreciate that he went quarterback heavy somewhat because I mean, you're getting 2 A-list quarterbacks. Got to be getting them early, else they're not going to last. Getting some really good skill players. Uh, yeah, obviously,
Yeah,
Quentin
hit the
Johnson.
lotto with Johnston for
Yeah, hit
sure.
the lotto with Johnson. Maybe went out on a limb a little bit. Uh, Jettas, Brees Hall, and then shit to top it all off, Jonathan Taylor, which
Yeah.
he's gonna be giving you some good points. You can count on him for definitely double digits, if not 20 plus every week. Shit, then you got Cooper Cup on the bench too, which
Well,
he
yeah,
can have a show out game.
yeah.
I mean,
He could pop off. He got 16 points in week 2,
he
so that
hasn't done anything crazy, but he's going to be getting targets just because of the name recognition.
yep.
So solid team. And then we go to the Perk 30 Kingpin. I don't
uh,
like this though. I got Baker and Chuba are questionable, and Michael Pittman, which Michael Pittman I haven't even played him at all, but he's putting up solid
yeah,
numbers,
yeah.
and
That's
he's been
worth
sitting on my
starting.
bench, taking up a lot of bench space where he should be in the starting position because of what he's doing. And Danny Dimes is rewarding him with a lot of touches,
Yeah.
and he's converting on them. And it's just like he doesn't have high projections week over week, which kind of surprised me. I'm looking at that 12.58. And I've seen them where they're sub 10. And you can
Well,
see 20, 19.3, 15.10. I mean, these are solid, especially solid flex numbers.
well, when you got Nakua and Stafford, like really because of the whole Stafford scenario, everyone was kind of concerned about Nakua's output, and he's easily wide receiver 1 right now. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it's not even close.
He kind of I don't want to say I took too much of a leap of faith on him, but at the same time, I didn't know if his success last season or in previous seasons would convert. And thankfully
Yeah.
it has.
Yeah, if Stafford was gonna be out for any period of time, that would have been super risky. Um, but since Stafford's been healthy and lighting it up, I mean, you know how he is, dude. He feeds that number 1 receiver, whether it's Cooper Kupp, Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate. I mean, that's how he is.
That's right.
And then
James Cook.
Cook was a good pick, man. I didn't know he was gonna take that big of a leap this year, where he's got 3 back-to-back 100-yard games with a touchdown every game.
Yeah, and two
That's
in week 2.
that's what the Bills have needed for so long, man. They haven't had a solid running game like this since what, Fred Taylor or whatever his name was?
Yeah. I mean,
Honestly,
you're going back quite a ways. I mean, they were
CJ
counting
Spiller,
basically Josh Allen was their run game.
yeah. I
That
guess
was it.
They had McCoy for a while,
Yeah,
but,
they did. They did. I
um,
forgot about McCoy. Then you got Kincaid, which he's gonna get you some touches. Anything over 10 is good for
yeah,
me.
that's solid, man. That's
Yeah.
solid.
So obviously another
You're heavy
Bills
in the
guy.
Bills offense.
Yeah, definitely. And then Zay Flowers, he's kind of semi boomer bust. I'd say a little bit better than that.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 games having good games, I'd take that.
Yeah.
And one
Yeah.
of them
So
was 30 points, so
right.
and you
And
had
then
Minnesota's defense who just threw up 30
oh
points.
man, that was Smitty wasn't too happy about that 35-point game right there.
Well,
That's when
I
I had
mean,
Smitty, and I mean, I
something
dusted
tells
him
me
no
he
matter
wouldn't have
what,
won
but
anyway, though. But yeah,
it wouldn't have mattered. They could have got 0, and I still would have spanked him by 50. But
well, didn't you put up like 170 last week or
I
something
think so.
crazy?
I think I was against Tony though. I think it
Yeah,
was
I
against
remember seeing
Bauer
that. And I
Rangers.
was like, 170. What the?
Yeah, that
Well,
was
look
pretty
at
good
you got me by like 90 points on offense.
on the points for.
Yeah, the points for.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
It's I've been lucking out. I mean, see, this points against, you really
Yeah,
can't do nothing about that. And I've lucked out there too.
yeah.
So that has to
It's a
be
win-win.
considered, the luck factor. My luck is bound to run out at some point,
Well, this
but
is gambling at the end of the day. I mean, no matter how much you know about all this shit, like you draft all these good players, they could be injured tomorrow. So um, we really are gambling, and that's why money's involved. But
absolutely.
um,
There's a lot of luck involved.
monopoly money, monopoly.
Right, right. Exactly. Kids show. Good deal, Robert. Well, that took a lot of time up. I mean, we could have done the whole show
Oh
just
yeah,
going over the teams. I'm sure
yeah,
we'll
the
do a
fantasy.
check in. Maybe we can even do a show that's just centralized around the fantasy league, which is the Pro Capper. But we'll leave it at that. What do you got for the people going into the rest of the week? Final thoughts, final words. What do you got?
I was actually going to ask you, did the Tigers win?
The
Did they lose?
Tigers won 6 to
Yes.
3. They
So
finished it
go
off,
Tigers.
and I was going to make an announcement about that, but I didn't. But yeah, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. But
But
they did
yeah,
it,
that
man.
was scary.
At
Like
all 3 games at the Guardians. I mean, you gotta tip your
1-1.
cap to them.
Do they got to do the same game every time? 1-1 into the late innings, and then either
I mean,
collapse or completely
they almost
rip
let them
down.
back in it in the in going into the ninth. It was 6-1 going into the bottom of the ninth, and they scored 2, and they looked like they were gonna get on a roll, and they must have shut them out. Or maybe it was the 8th. I had to turn the
Wow.
game off because I had to head over here, but it was a nail biter, but they had a great inning in the 7th. The top of the 7th, they blew the top off, and their offense got activated. So that's what we've been waiting to see. We know the
Yeah.
Tigers are
Awesome.
good. We know they have what it takes. But when it comes to almost the postseason, you get to the point where you almost don't even make the playoffs, don't even make a wild card. To now, you're going to be making it in a divisional. So
They've had the worst um, with guys in scoring position converting to points in postseason history in the last couple seasons. Like they've had more guys in scoring position and not come away with anything, I think, than any team ever. It's something crazy. There's a
I
huge
believe
stat
it.
like that. And
I was watching
yeah,
yesterday. Shit, we had guys on first and third, and then they went 0 for 3. There's no outs. They went 0 for 3. The next 3 batters, they all got struck out or pop flies. I mean, come on, you
yeah,
can't get this guy in.
yeah,
And they did a
bunt,
sacrifice
just bunt
bunt.
or something.
They did a
Yeah,
sacrifice bunt in game 1, and they were lucky as hell to get it. They got it. The guy went home from third, and the guy got thrown out at first, but they got the winning run. That's all that mattered. I guess you got to tip your cap to that execution. But you're winning games by the skin of your teeth. I don't care you're playing baseball, checkers, chess, backyard basketball. You can't count on winning games in the long run by the skin of your teeth. You
and
just can't do it.
you can't pinch hit Riley Green either. I mean,
No.
what is this crap? Hey, Miguel Cabrera, hit the bench. You know?
Right. I mean, it's like you're talking about playing scared. You can't play anything scared and expect to win.
Yeah, especially with your best players. I mean, that just kind of undermines their confidence. Like, hey, they
Absolutely.
don't think I'm good enough or what?
Absolutely.
Well, that's all I got, man. Go Tigers.
Well said. Well put. So we're looking forward into the rest of the NFL season. Obviously, the Tigers made it to the divisional. We're looking forward to that. A lot of good things on the up and up. Keeping track of the Pro Capper, keeping you guys in the loop with the Pro Capper. It's a lot of exciting stuff. A lot of fireworks, especially in the chat and whatnot. So
No
we'll leave
comment.
that. We'll leave that for the chat. For the people in the chat, we'll leave that. Maybe we'll share a little bit in the next show. But we'll leave it at that, guys. Make sure to add us on social media. Find us on our website at ginsportsnetwork.com. Find us on Instagram at ginsportsnetwork. And find me on Twitter /X at Gin Commish. and we'll see you guys here next time. Thank you so much for joining us on Double Coverage, the premier NFL podcast of the Gin Sports Network. For now, I'm John J. II alongside Robert Rocco. Have a great night.